Hello, everybody, and a welcome to episode 4 of my Macedonian campaign. Today, we are going to hopefully make great progress in the north, as finally all of Hellas has been consolidated under Macedonian control. Last room, we defeated the Cretans, as well as dealt quite a few blows against the northern kingdoms in Thrace. However, simultaneously, my client states in the form of the RDA got conquered by the Epirotes in a rather unusual state of affairs. I've never really seen Epirus expand beyond Apollonia. They tend to just get obliterated by Rome for, frankly, obvious reasons, I think. I'm going to demolish this and instead build a farm. I realize that public order in Hellas does not need any type of assistance from an agora or a gymnos or any type of building that's going to improve public order. Rather, my diplomat compared with the edict that we have going, right, or bread and games edict, is more than enough to keep things going. At the same time, last stream we ended things with this army traveling from the south, where we completed their military campaign successfully, up to the north. And we are within range of this Tylisian army. Now, this Tylisian army is good. Like, they have some of their better swordsmen, but they also have a lot of levies still, and I think that we could quite soundly defeat this force without too much trouble. Yet at the same time, we don't have the movement speed to actually get to them in time. So yeah, let's just end this turn, I suppose. Admittedly, I do want to eventually do something with this general. The thing is that I actually don't want my king in control of this army. This army is a weird mix of good troops and, frankly, some awful troops, and I would just prefer my general to stay in control of his force. Yet at the same time, I'm just curious whether there really aren't that many military traditions here, so it's actually not that bad, I suppose. Sorry, I'm just kind of thinking out loud, but we will make another army over here and use most likely this character as the leader. But that's for a later time. Also, oh my god, we just keep on losing babies. Like, this is so unfortunate, but child mortality is just insane with the Argead dynasty. Just absurd. But yeah, for now, we shall move, and oops, forgot that we have an agent that can improve. Oops. Let's go figure out which agent that is. Ooh, it's my spy. Go ahead, just gotta get a couple of more buffs here, improve my agent's success rate, and we can move on to the next turn. So yeah, we need to keep these two armies together, because one of the forces is rather strong, the one that I used to take all of Greece. However, that force is also a little bit worn down, so they can use the support of my second army here, but that second army just isn't particularly powerful either. Now, Bithynia, which has this army right here, is in a war with Tylis, so they might prove useful, but at the same time... Oh, wait a minute. I think Bithynia just obliterated that Tylisian army. That, or we went into an ambush stance, but I don't think that you can go into an ambush stance successfully this kind of close to my forces, which, yeah, I think that at this point... Yeah, I think that they just obliterated that army, which means that I can quite easily travel to Polpadeva and put it under siege. Yeah, I mean, with only this army defending the settlement, we're sure to succeed with these two armies. This will be the fault of Tylis. Thank you so much, Bithynia. You guys are swell. Meanwhile, public order is improving in Macedonia for the first time in forever, so yay to that. I am kind of wondering which building I want to make, but it really is just a matter of, do I want the farm Or do I want a granary? Considering that the granary is good for agricultural wealth. Oh man, I can't really do livestock easily. Just with the ranch, which does do war horses. Man, it's rather odd building J-Top to say with the Macedonians compared to the Scythians who I just played. I feel like I understood the Scythians somewhat better. Yet here we are. I do think that we should probably just go for this. Doesn't increase banditry a whole lot. Yeah, I'll just go for a regular farm. Now with this, we either go for expanded wealth or expanded food, which we're going to go for expanded food, which means that we go for the flat one. Yeah, go for this. Perfect. Okay, and otherwise we are in fantastic shape. And yeah, we actually have population growth in Hellas, which is splendid. Let's move on with the next turn. So yeah, we're going to put Pulpadeva under siege, and I do want to actually conquer it. We're not just going to create a client state. We're not just going to liberate the settlement. We are going to properly conquer Pulpadeva and try to incorporate it into our empire as an industrial settlement. You see, in Divide et Impera, you want to specialize your provinces as either agricultural provinces, military provinces, or industrial provinces. Agriculture provides your civilization's food as well as some of its income. Industry is where the majority of the income lies, but those industrial settlements are dependent upon the agricultural settlements for food. And military settlements is where you kind of craft the most advanced military populations. It's where you're going to have most of your nobles consolidated, as well as really your recruitment buffs for your militaries. I mean, you can get a lot of experience if you build the right temples, and you know, you can get kind of advantages in weaponry, armor, stuff like that if you build the right buildings. So ultimately, that's something that you want to invest into too for your military provinces. So yeah, in any case, I'll stop blabbing and instead focus upon this battle. For these Gallo-Thracians can be a pesky bunch, capable of surprises if you give them the chance. We're just going to set up our army right here. It's not the ideal position, but the thing is that my reinforcements are going to come out of here according to the minimap, and I really want my two armies together. I think having my two armies together is far more important than like taking the high ground or anything, so just going to wait for my forces to deploy, and then we will actually like properly set everyone up for success. You know, hopefully kind of like right here, you know, taking the center field type of thing. Yeah, let's just have a nice thick line of Macedonian pikemen. We can have our long-range skirmishers in a nice line a little bit far away from that. Have them all in guard formation. Other Agrianian peltis as well as our Greek peltis, as well as our Greek infantry in a nice thick line behind our hoplites. Now, we have two of these Agrianian swordsmen. They can be pretty good melee infantry, so we'll have them kind of assembled right here on the flank. And the rest of our Macedonian light hoplites we'll put on this flank up here. I assume that these guys will probably have to deal with crater cavalry problems, so go here, and our cavalry can just be in a nice thick line right behind a formation. Yeah, everyone's going to go pretty quick here, so shouldn't take too long for our force to fully assemble, but of course the Tylisian force is on the move. They did attack us, so it looks like our men are going to get into formation just in time. Other than the light hoplites are still kind of streaming across the field. I was pretty lazy with deploying my troops, so I'm not surprised that it's taking a little bit of time, but think it's time for my men to start pushing forward here. We have Celtic townsfolk, Agrionian sellswords, Celtic warriors, Agrionians. I mean, this flank over here is strong-ish, but I don't think that they're powerful enough to truly handle a bunch of... Ooh, I forgot about these Corinthian light hoplites. I think it would actually be very useful on this flank. But as I was saying, I don't think that they're strong enough to handle the sheer amount of, like, cavalry and stuff that I have on this flank. Also, let's just form up a bit of a phalanx here, and... Ooh. Okay, my general on this flank already butchered a Celtic townsfolk. I mean, it is what you expect. It's Celtic bowmen, we can, like, destroy them too. Yes, Celtic bowmen, we'll kill them. But my Thessalians, I need them to charge downhill into those Celtic warriors. We'll break them. My general on this flank is broken a Celtic bowman. I mean, that's what you anticipate, like, Celtic bowman, that's just a garrison unit. But yeah, we'll reform these guys into neat lines and then charge downhill. But yeah, my general's gone into a bunch of Celtic bowmen here, so they'll feast upon these weaklings. Ooh, these Peltis, I'm not sure what killed them, but quite happy to see them go, so I'm not going to be concerned about who slayed them. But yeah, some of these, like, elite swords or whatever, like, they are pretty intimidating, particularly for a faction like mine, which just does not have the most melee infantry power, so do need to, like, get them away, you know? I do have to wipe them out. But also, barbarians don't have the best morale, and if you can't keep your flank clear, if your men are dying en masse, you know, being hunted down as they try to retreat from the field, you're just not gonna have a lot of positivity going through your ranks. Men are gonna start looking for their exit, just like these Celtic warriors. Although I am surprised with how long some of these guys are lasting. But we also have yet to even charge our Peltison, which have long since cast their javelins. So let's push them in. My phalanxes are holding. The enemy, like, wings are crumbling. Honestly, I'm not even microing my cavalry that effectively. Like, the Tylisian army is done. But you could see just how much of our forces have crumbled, and at this point, it's just going to be a matter of, like, continuing the enemy route rather than encouraging more of it. Because upon the flanks, if I can actually get my melee infantry to pounce, like, I have an advantage pretty much everywhere. And there we have it. A quick victory for myself. One that I anticipated. Despite the enemy having numerically superior armies, there wasn't anywhere close to a quality equivalence between our forces. And yes, like, this army is not ideal. Like, there are some units that are of subpar quality, but still. Still way, way better than what I was going up against Yeah, no units bite the dust. Perfect. So much needed money obtained from that. And yeah, I'll just assault this. I mean, they have only 500 men left, so of course they're not going to be able to keep things together, and we'll just raise this settlement to the ground. Ooh, it's a lot of money. +2 growth. Entertainment. Nice. Perfect. Oh, we don't have any money for the rest of it. So that's the thing. When you raise, you don't really get money. So there is something I could sell here then. Now this is like just manufacturing. This will get me some sanitation. Now, I think that, yeah, the wealth from industry building that you can get, yeah. I mean, I do want like an industrial province here, so I'll go for this. Just trying to figure out like what I would want. I mean, this would be like, this would be the settlement. Like, this would be the building that I actually need. That would be like insane. Like, this would also be really useful. But I'm like nowhere near like actually being able to build it, I think. I can definitely make this, but it's barely any like public order, so there's going to be issues of public order. But you know what? I'll make it for now. For now, I'll make it. And yeah, we do have some positive buffs. Okay, there's 2 Odryssian armies within view. We'll fight both of these guys in time, but I think for now we just kind of have both these guys hanging out in their home province. Food is very precarious, which sucks, but what can I do? I do want to research this technology. It is very useful at the end of the day. Very, very, very useful. Same time, there's just plenty of civic technologies that I'm in desperate need of too, so yeah. So when you're doing like tech at the beginning of a campaign, it's like you're a bear with your paw and honey, right? There's just so many good options. But I'm really happy to have obliterated Tylis too. That was a fun battle. Outside of the gates of Pulpideva, the garrison, as well as the last army of Tylis sallies out, but also Bithynia did me a massive favor by winning that battle. Now, with Odryssia, they have 2 full-stack armies, and they're divided. They're not in the same area. So I could potentially just gang up on them and win their settlements for myself quite easily. Okay, well, we're back to having food, and we have even more money than before, so I'm quite happy with that. +1 public order is better than nothing, for sure. Enslaved still isn't a significant issue, so I'm not upset with that by any means. Meanwhile, over here, we can, of course, go back to researching this, and we don't have any other farms going here, so it makes no sense to get that. But yeah, let's go for a level 2 farm. I think that that's what makes the most sense for me right now. And then, okay. I kind of like understand what is happening here. Like we can go confront this Thracian army with our forces over here if we wish to. Then go on to Anthea and take that settlement. But at the same time, the Thracian pirate army looks really annoying to deal with, and I don't have a navy, so it's not like I can easily take them out. A lot of these ships have iron rams and very good, like, units, 4 naval units, like very good infantry leading the ship, so they could be annoying to deal with, but at the same time, so it'd be very easy to take that settlement, so yeah, I think we should just go for it. At the same time, I just wonder, right, with Bithynia, we have some degree of alliances, I know.
Simple prudence means
Nothing crazy, though, right?
Welcome. A flapping tongue that speaks without wisdom.
And Galatia rarely wants to trade with anyone.
Be at ease.
What about Rhodes, though?
welcome. I throw
Hey!
the gods of Olympus.
I mean, I just don't want to make any type of agreements with the Seleucids. I always see them as, like, a dying husk that will inevitably fall. Oh man, I am surprised that the Odryssians are willing to take me on in such a fashion. Like, if you just look at their army, right? Like, these 4 levy spears, pretty bad. These 3 Thracian footmen, pretty bad. Like, these are militia units. Yeah, they do have some units that are really good offensive shock infantry types, but just nothing fantastic. And, like, once again, I'm just going to deploy at the rear because I can see that my reinforcements are coming out here. So why not just allow my 2 armies to form up together rather than keeping them apart? And yeah, allow the Odryssians to occupy the high ground. We will be able to out-skirmish them, so really doesn't bother me if they take it. But yeah, we'll form up opposite them. Just do it kind of old-fashioned style, you know. March your armies across the field, looking each other in the eye, and settle our differences. But yeah, we will get these guys together. I am kind of thinking about like what the optimal way of organizing our force is, but yeah, I don't quite know. Let's just play around with things for a bit here. We're gonna put our light hoplites on this flank and give them 3 peltas as cover, because like I don't have a ton of melee infantry. Like my Agrionians are spent, right? So I should probably put them on the flank with a couple of Agrionians as well as the Greek infantry. And then can like give them the entirety of the Sarissa cavalry as support, as well as like one of our royal squadrons. And then give the Thessalians as well as the other royal squadron to this flank. Okay, fast forward. Created our army. You know, we're taking care to assemble our forces. We're not mere barbarians. We are a civilized people that organizes themselves with all of the splendor and efficiency of a civilized people. Now, let's continue forwards. Again, like these are short-range skirmishers. These are all peltas on the field for the Thracians. Every single skirmisher is a peltas, which is to be expected. They don't have good long-range skirmishers. The Odryssians have terrible long-range skirmishers. So, makes sense, just we're gonna have to come down to hill once I get into range. At least the AI is probably gonna prefer that, even though the general weakness of my long-range skirmishers would makes me question the wisdom of truly doing that, but still, doesn't matter. Now, I do want my pikes to kind of come down. The Odryssian charge is very hardcore, so I'd rather have a pike separate my men from Odryssians, plus the javelins are obviously just going to be really annoying to deal with. Luckily, we do have plenty of peltis ourselves, so if the enemy wants to get close to throw javelins, they won't do well unless they actually have armor, which they don't. So, for example, a Thracian javelin cavalry just goes down, and the enemy cannot afford to really lose that many javelin throwing units. So the Greek infantry is pounding these Thracians, which to lose, like, you know, second-class population to my Greek peasants is not opportune. I think that despite the enemy having many javelins, we're probably going to be winning this whole skirmish thing. Some of our peltis will die before throwing all of our javelins too. Yeah, the enemy's going to charge in with some of our weaker units. Honestly, these levies, like here, these footmen, they aren't like that good. Like, we can totally take them out with the right units. If I can get these particular Agrionians just like on the flanks, we will be able to win those engagements. These light spearmen, like, they're just literally ruining themselves on my pikes. Like, my pikemen at this point are pretty experienced, plus it looks like my archers are contributing to their just general malaise. So yeah, these guys, as they run into my sarissas, they're gonna die. Not gonna really do anything. Our archers are gonna pound enemy skirmishers. And yeah, we'll try to kind of scale along this flank. I think we can get my cavalry and kind of line them up here, reposition them. What is this unit? A Thracian levy? Okay, if I just send my Thessalians up this mountain, they will win. I think we can just kind of push our flank forward a little bit. I think I'm maybe being a little bit too concerned. So at the end of the day, if all of these javelins kind of hurl in, start to tickle these Thracians, they will go down. I'll charge our general in just because I know that our general will absolutely obliterate these guys. These are Agrionians. We'll kill these guys with my Agrionians. These Thracian mercenary peltis will die. Actually, we'll get all of these guys to chase him down just so we can have a little bit of safety from the enemy general, because this Romphia wielder is insane, but actually we can knock him out with my cavalry. I noticed that, like, Macedonian cavalry is really good for killing Thracian nobles. Like, just a really high charge. It's really good at getting through this Thracian's lack of defense. There we go. Just a lot of these Thracian units don't have good armor, nor do they have fantastic morale. They're just very offensively capable, so like rear charges, stuff like that, it's just absolutely devastating. Yeah, we'll send my general to just hunt after routing units. No need to endanger them too much. Just at this point, my generals are quite strong, and this army is frankly mostly spent. See a bunch of units. They're starting to rout. Enemy generals losing men rapidly, and oh man, they could not have afforded to run there, because that is so much of the killing power of the Thracians just wrapped up in this general. They got one kill. Man, in my battles with as the Odryssian Kingdom, I was sometimes able to get like 500 kills on Varampia Wielder, and this army only gets 1 kill. Like, yeah, this is not the result that the Odryssians needed. Their forces folded before the efficiency of Macedon, but that's the thing, right? Odryssia is a rush faction. And to have a strong rush faction, you can't afford to have so many weak links. To have like 4 levy spears and 3 levy swords just makes this army too unreliable, and your like good units for killing don't have enough armor to really absorb the impact of your enemy charge, and these units won't do it ever. So just a poorly constructed army from Odryssia dooms this army to failure. And yeah, we kind of need money, so we'll ransom the captives. So I have to stop doing that at some point. And let's see, I mean, this is the general that's not from like... This is the general that's not from my family, so we don't want anything that's going to create cunning for this guy. So we can, like, do this. Minus Empire Maintenance. I really do want less Empire Maintenance most of the time. And improve the infantry, because infantry is the heart of the Macedonian military machine. And yeah, we'll just kind of keep these armies together as we try to conquer our Thracian enemies. I do want to make some agreements with the Ptolemies, yet they just do not want me under any circumstances. They don't want to deal with me. They don't want to be friends. Too bad. Now, as things in Thrace start to tip in our favor, we will eventually recreate the king's mega army, the one that got obliterated last stream. We're gonna do that by cutting the army that he currently leads in half. But we'll get to that a little bit later. For now, we still need to defeat the Odryssians. They have 2 settlements. They have 1 full army, although that army just went chasing after pirates, I believe. And of course, Nasos. We do need to break off every agreement with that faction, like, this turn. So let's go ahead and do that. Construction. Ooh. A little bit of development happening over in Crete. And Athens' population just continues to swell. It is beautiful to be. Yeah, no settlement is truly populated in this province. Now let's just go ahead and kind of spy things out. We did see that army leave, and really just no movement, truly. It's a question of whether this settlement would get it all reinforced if I try to take it. So let's move my king into position. Yeah, it will be reinforced, however, it will be by this army, and this army is on the water, so they actually won't come in nearly as strongly, too. Like, this army is gonna come on the water. So because of that, most of her infantry is going to be stuck on ships, while her general, as well as 2 cavalry units, are going to come on land, because cavalry doesn't end up deploying on troop transports. They end up always deploying on land, so we could easily gank for general and then just obliterate the paltry garrison defending the settlement. This is going to be a really easy battle, just because of how strategically unfit this force is. But alas, we still have to, like, win the battle. We have 2 armies to do it with. It shouldn't be that hard. I think it's best for me to rush the enemy settlement. I think I just need to rush the settlement, honestly. Because whatever is in here is going to suck. And enemy army shouldn't be too strong. There's that general that I was talking about. Just want to go and confront them right now. Meanwhile, the enemy troop transports are there. It's going to take them forever to arrive in the settlement, so not a big deal. Okay, that should do the trick. Okay, we just went 3-on-1 with hitting the enemy general with a charge. So that enemy general is dead. Very, very dead. And very, very soon. No one can survive that level of charge. We'll chase down these Thracian light horsemen. Sure, it is kind of annoying just how much skirmishing they can do, but it doesn't really matter. And yeah, like this is going to be a complete and utter disaster for the Thracian garrison. We're going to actually obliterate them. Like, these Thracian militias are really, really bad. They only do 20 weapon damage, and they have 8 armor. They are amongst some of the weaker garrison troops in Divide et Impera. The Thracian settlements do get somewhat better garrisons as time goes on, but they're far from, like, the stronger garrisons in this mod. I think the Thracians are a little bit weak, representing the general instability and lack of permanency in their civilization, but alas, the matter is not. I very rarely fought a defensive siege battle when I played my Thracian campaign. I was always on the offensive, and it was a very quick-paced affair. But yeah, over in the center here, like, we are going to eradicate these guys. We just have better infantry. Our archers will offer better support, and cavalry that can just easily overrun the settlement too. Already have some hammer and anvil. We killed the enemy general. At least I think we did. And should be getting rid of this cavalry unit too. Although they've done a hefty amount of killing upon my Thessalians. Just the lack of shields making a clear impact on the survivability of my troops. And I feel like I've seen a rapid thinning of this Thracian garrison, so yeah, we should be steadily getting past them. I see Thracian bowmen wrapped up with my general. Like, that can only have one conclusion. Plus, we'll get our bronze shield pikes in amongst these bowmen as well. There we go. The last of the Thracian garrison. Looks like they're breathing their last two. Now this should be the garrison navy, and we'll have Sarissa Lancers for him. Yeah, we'll get all of my pikemen just in the center of the settlement. I think that's the ideal spot for them, so that we can hold off these Odryssians once they arrive. See, it's going to take them a while to come here. Troop transports are just incredibly slow. Yeah, we'll have 2 Sarissa cavalry units for each of these garrison naval units. No reason to leave it up to chance, you see? So no reason to. We'll have these guys kind of move over here, along with 3 Agrianians. Just a nice little defensive line. We have the time to set them up. And yeah, rapid disintegration of the enemy garrison units, which is great. Yeah, let's kind of get my cavalry to form up outside here. We have the time to allow them to deploy, of course, so happen, and it looks like we are firmly in control of the center of the garrison as well. So yeah, instead of just having everyone kind of set up here, we'll have a nice thin line of pikemen array themselves within the garrison proper. Now, what about my Agrionian sellswords? Well, honestly, I think all Agrionians can depart the battlefield. There are just too few of them left in my army. I don't need to risk them in this grisly battle. I think the rest of my Macedonian hoplites that have taken already like a lot of damage, they can kind of just leave the battlefield. As well as my Peltis, as well as my pikemen, will be more than enough to stop what remains of the Odryssians. I mean, these guys are not particularly great at this point. They're just so slow to deploy. That's all it really is. Yeah, spent units. I approve of them kind of going away, and it's going to take a long time for my cavalry to get into position. Bare minimum, we can kind of set up these guys for some skirmish support for my pike line. Here's some more support, except these units need to stay here. I think I had... There we go. Okay, there we have it. I think that we've done a great job arraying our men for the landing here, although it looks like they are going to land on this beach, which is fine by me. It means that we need to hold this particular choke point for sure, and we can like overhold choke points with the amount of men that we have, although it doesn't make sense to like overcrowd areas, I guess. Yeah, I think this is like ideal right here. I think it makes sense to maybe just like put one archer like right here, and like two Peltis, and like have these guys get into pike formation. There's no way to get through here other than this and this. So we can shut this area off with, I mean, ideally we'd shut it off with 3 pikes, although it's looking more like a 4 pike job potentially. I do not want to choose pikes that are already in use, so let's do 4 pikes. Have them kind of form up right here. We'll have 2 slingers kind of back here, or longer range, right? So it makes sense for them to be a little further away. That Agrionian's already chucked everything, but this one hasn't, so we can kind of put them here, as well as my Hellenic Peltis unit. We'll have these guys form up too. We still have 3 unused pikes in the defensive position, so well, the thing is, we do need to kind of cover this area too. Have these guys like right here. some archers just like right here for general support, I suppose. I do want to kind of get a lot of my lighter troops over here, so I can use them for just random like attacks and stuff. Maybe like over here or something, just kind of just have them run to the edge of the settlement so I can loop them around, you know, use them for a flanking attack or whatever. My light hoplites, like, they don't look like much, right? They look like a bunch of guys in light Thrace armor, helmets, and whatever. Maybe even just tunics, but they have pretty reasonable combat stats and 4 movement speed, so they are really good for flanking. As well as some of my Greek infantry still has javelins and stuff that they can use to make the flank attacks like more devastating. These hoplites, we will already get them to start forming up the phalanxes. No need to have them have to scramble to do it right before combat. Yeah, we'll just kind of pull the cavalry back a little bit. Make them a little bit less overt, I suppose. And there we have it. So, Odryssians deploy. Took them so freaking long to get here. But whatever. They deploy. Their garrison is already spent. To be fair, the battle's only been going for 15 minutes. And their garrison's already completely gone. Their general's dead. Like, everything's gone wrong. And now I guess they're, like, landing to try to somehow avenge all the men they've lost against a super heavily fortified position. Yeah, these Thracian javelin men that ran in, they've already lost like 20 men to my archers. They don't have any armor of their own, so yeah, these Thracian foot... Oh, dude, like, so many of these units are just completely mediocre, light units. Yeah, these Thracians could either run into my pikes, or they can, I don't know, try to confront cavalry that are going to be pretty elusive to kill anyway. I don't know, I think because of my cavalry, a lot of these guys don't want to like engage frontally just because it's pretty suicidal. But at the end of the day, these Thracians can't really take concentrated missile fire for long either, right? They just have really bad armor. Nor can most of these Thracian units get easily charged by cavalry. It's going to be a complete disaster. So yeah, we can go ahead, wipe these guys out. These light spearmen should be way too far away to help the footmen before we break. Whatever Thracians have charged me have already broken. These hoplites, they should all die. Like, hoplites get directly countered by pikemen, so within a few minutes they should get ground to dust by the far superior pushing power of my pikes. You can see some hoplites in the front row getting pounded, getting destroyed. You can see, yeah, we've already lost like 30 men, dude. These footmen completely surrounded. They're already shaken. This light spearman's getting close. Oh my god. I have kept my men in combat for way too long. That was complete brain fart on my part, but we should be getting rid of these footmen in a moment. Okay, I think it's time to retreat. I think the footmen have maintained their posture for long enough. Whatever, we killed 23 men. Shouldn't have let them, to be honest. I just was hoping that they'd rout. But instead, we'll have our men charge with Mayday Peltis. It'll obliterate them. Also, we killed that mercenary Ramphia warrior as well, who was a pretty important unit for what remains of the Thracians. And you can see here, these Thracian levies haven't even gotten within range yet. Just my Agrianians, my archers are pounding them. Struggling up the hill, they've already lost like 75 men, and then they just rout. See, that's the thing about these Thracians. Like, I have to actually get into combat powerfully to do damage. You have to get like a good engagement. Meanwhile, my men have some resilience. They can actually hold on. At this point, our cavalry is just doing everything we need to do. These long spear peltists, they're not going to last. Not against the barrage that we are subjecting them to. Meanwhile, what remains here? A couple of Agrionians and a bunch of light spearmen, aka levies. There's nothing of quality left for the Thracians. So light spear peltists, they're not levy level, but they are pretty weak. Like, they aren't great. They do only have 20 armor. But they're more of kind of like a supportive troop, you know, they're an anti-cavalry support troop. These guys, I think I just need to, like, do this. Think that these light spearmen probably need to get killed. Only 38 base morale and 1 armor should mean that they rout the moment that they're charged in the rear. But they do have support nearby, which makes me question whether they will rout quickly enough for me. Whoops. Okay, we've routed 1 unit, and it appears that the rest will soon go too. There we go. So, an easy win. An easy win. I never doubted myself within that battle. Like, that was a pretty easy one. The Thracians have not yet developed enough to take on their Macedonian betters. And they paid a price. To be expected, though. Phalangists are really good early game infantry. And the Thracians somewhat struggle until they start getting reforms. But at the same time, like, you could just make a much better Thracian army than whatever my general had. And I guess the general did survive my charge. I didn't really bother to make sure that he was dead. Okay, so Habit and Fia will develop some more. Usually when it comes to developing industrial provinces, I try my best to, like, to develop all of public order buildings before I go for, like, all of proper industrial buildings, the ones that generate wealth for you. It's just, I mean, obviously there's, like, none of the buildings here that would help me with that. Local commerce, sanitation, research rate. I'm just kind of investigating what would pair well with industrial technology. I mean, this would. The minus banditry would be helpful as well as the other buffs, but I don't want to lose out much food. Then when it comes to, like, temples, really, the only temple that helps with industrial stuff is this, which plus 40% is huge. It's just you're not getting any public order out of it either, which is in of itself a problem. Odessos has 4 building slots, so I can make more there, and Nasos has 2 building slots, so I won't really be able to make a whole lot there. Meanwhile, I can edict another province if I do capture this province, so that is in of itself an advantage. But it's not really all I can do here. What does happen with commercial stimulation from commerce? The thing, like, this one doesn't actually improve anything from commercial stimulation. This one does, actually. So I'm just thinking, maybe I just build a temple to Athena here instead. It'll improve my commercial buildings if I use bread and games plus other stuff. I'm also wondering, can I get a dignitary here? Absolutely. So let's go for that. Yeah, I do like something that improves commercial stimulation. I do want that. Plus public order. Absolutely go for this one. Beautiful. And then at the same time, let's go to these guys and like break every single like treaty I have with them.
There was no honor in swap.
And then if I do declare war, it's going to take 6 turns for me to balance things out. So that makes sense. Low for the Ptolemies, still for me to get a trade agreement. What about the Bosphorus Kingdom? I know I can trade with them, but they don't like me.
Greetings.
Don't like me very much anyway. Oh, it's okay.
Advance. Our advance has been halted.
Yeah, so far so good, I would say. Let's get the third over with. Yeah, another win against Odryssians. Although they aren't really putting up splendid resistance to me. Their armies are universally not very good. I've been obliterating them. They just put too much chaff into their armies, if that makes sense. Just too many weak units that don't have the capacity to stand up against like a basic Macedonian infantryman. And when you have so many weak units concentrated into one place, you just end up with just not the best army, you know? And, ooh, the Thracian pirates eliminate the remnants of the Odryssian army from last battle. That's kind of funny to me. Oh, wait a minute. That army is hostile, isn't it? Okay. Attend a rival banquet. That's typically the best option amongst those choices. Okay, so this is industrial, so we definitely want to go for the docks. So yeah, let's just try that. Amongst all of the forces in this province, which one's gonna help the most? Like a civil colony is good. Farming is good for farming, like that's obvious. I think it just makes sense for me to go for civil. I mean, you get a better garrison, and it's +8 wealth from all sources. Meanwhile, market colony seems to mostly be good if you have a lot of commercial wealth, which I'm not planning on building. So let's go for civil. Meanwhile, we can go ahead and finish off the Odryssian Kingdom. Don't see any reason not to. I'll put this administrator right here. We can start administrating the province. It's a beautiful population growth here at Athens. Every turn we get better and better and better. Meanwhile, this is an army of an enemy faction. It is, yeah. So we should, at this point, probably figure out what we're gonna do with the king. See, this... Oh, we can just, like... Okay, I mean, we can just very easily... Oh, -1 emperor, but maintenance is crazy. But we can't, like, get rid of this type of thing. Like, we can't get rid of these traits, but we can get rid of these traits, which is important. Yeah, this is not my faction leader. This is my faction leader. So what we can do here... It's plainly replace Antigonus Gontus with... other guy from the Antigonid dynasty is married to a minor member of our family. Kind of just bring like this army back, I think. Meanwhile, we can quite easily defeat this Odryssian force. I mean, this is just like a garrison like any other, honestly. We just crush them by running in. They have 2 javelin units, which have the potential to kill a reasonable number of my phalangists, but at the end of the day, I'm not like really that worried. I think the enemy are likely to become offensive here. No? Are they not? I've seen like enemy armies get really offensive out of this settlement in particular, but we'll see. These raiders, like, we just need cavalry to charge them down once we deploy. Okay, let's push these guys in. Push our bronze shields in. Don't need all of them to get into that combat right away. Get these 2 light hoplites to kind of scale the battlefield and, you know, kind of deploy almost like special forces troops, you know? Kind of get into the middle of the settlement and obliterate them. And yeah, we'll have our cavalry harass these naval units until they rout. It'll be pretty quick when they do. There's not a lot of these missile units to go around, so they will very quickly die. Honestly, it looks like I should just get my men in. A lot of these guys are already shaken. There's no reason to not be hasty if we can quickly break the enemy, because the sooner that we can break these Thracian militia spearmen, the sooner that we can just end this battle and not take damage from these like tribes folk. You can see they've already killed 60. Like, these javelins do have the capability to kill quite a few of our men, but I'm sure that they're also inflicting a lot of friendly fire on their own side. But it doesn't really matter to them. Like, this garrison has no chance of winning their battle, but they can weaken my army. For what purpose, though, I don't really know. This is the last settlement from this faction, so it's not like we're going to survive. Yeah, if my pikemen have their pikes up, that means that they don't have an attack order. But yeah, I mean, Thracian infantry, they're fading fast. They don't have armor to withstand the level of attack that I'm putting on them. Yeah, even though my infantry are taking casualties, they're not, like, taking enough casualties to, like, struggle. There we go, the Corinthian light hoplites. Get in amongst the Thracian tribes, folk. And, yeah, while these guys have the capability of throwing a javelin far, they won't be able to fight against professional hoplites for very long. Meanwhile, there are other skirmishers that need to be dealt with. Send our cavalry in to harass him. Corinthian light hoplites made quick work of the enemy, and now we're going to charge into the flank of the Thracian militia. And as far as I see it, this battle's basically over. Like, we're in their back lines with our cavalry, a lot of our infantry has melted. Sure, our general is in a reasonably strong unit, but regardless, like, they're not going to last. Yeah, we pushed that garrison over. Just, I mean, look at this Thracian garrison, right? It's like a low-level settlement. There's not that many troops. these like light spearmen are just gonna be incapable of like holding properly. They're just not gonna be able to like withstand proper pressure from like well-armored, well-disciplined troops. Yeah, we'll just sack the settlement. Why not? Although, perhaps we've answered our own question for we no longer have enough money to actually upgrade this. Well, I definitely do want to have the slave thing. I'm starting to think, like, should I just be going for, like, commerce? I mean, like, this... Like, this creates commerce. Like, maybe I shouldn't even consider this. Maybe I should just consider something that increases commercial wealth. What does that? That one creates more commercial wealth. Then, like, obviously, if I want commercial wealth, I just create a harbor, right? Yeah, let's go for commerce, perhaps. But now, because of that, don't have the most money. So this is going to create more commercial wealth. Then, yeah, I'll just make a little temple here. Perfect. Amphia's fuck. You know what? Like, I was gonna say, like, oh god, like, what about Amphia? But it's like, oh no, this army is far away. Okay, Amphia can get ganked this turn. Like, legitimately, it's pretty much undefended. Okay, this is gonna be terrible. But you know what? If the enemy does take control of Amphia, I can, like, quickly retake the settlement. But if anything's under development in Amphia... Like, if we develop that building, the pirates might just take it down. But I don't want any type of slums here. So I'm going to make the cheapest building, and if the pirates attack, then at least we don't destroy something important. But I think there's a very high chance that the pirates are just going to attack. Oh, those pirates are a little annoying. Okay, and also, I did want to... Alright, we did already trade this guy for the Basilis. But I don't think we can get our king within Pella this turn. But this army's not going to be able to take Pella with just, like, one turn of putting it under siege. They're not going to be able to, plain and simple. So it matters not whether they're within marching distance of Pella or not. But let's see. Let's see what happens, boys. Either way, this is the last turn for the stream. We've already gone to the hour point. We've conquered the vast majority of Thrace. And now we have what is the basis of an industrial province in the making. So that in of itself is very good. Now, we do intend to eventually take resettlement, and yes, the pirates did not attack. It looks like they're a little bit worried about that. And ooh! Now, that takeover means that we can attack Nasos far earlier, so that is actually really good. Okay, the king is back in, ooh, level 5. Roma. That means Apollonia got taken by Rome, so that's a little bit much. Oh, I do expect to see the Romans declare war against me soon. Just hopefully later rather than sooner, but we'll have to see. You'll just have to see. Okay. You know what, guys? Let's play one more turn. Let's just play one more turn. For I do want to start a couple of things, such as building that elite army that I mentioned. And yeah, Anphia, we could just kind of go back to this. I don't know whether we can actually beat these pirates. Even like in a basic battle. Dessos. Either city, if they like this ship attacks either of these cities, like we are toast, completely toast. Gonna take 6 turns to convert either of these. Okay, that's what I gotta do. So firstly, let's send this spy over to Dessos. I need to figure out what's going on here, like what type of army. Actually, no, we do know what type of RB is at play, and it is like a full force RB, so we need a proper RB to actually put them down. So let's send this force over. It is a pretty decent army all in all, even though it's a bizarre troop composition, so we should be able to fight them just fine. Yeah, it appears that commerce is gonna inevitably be the purpose of this settlement. Now, with the Thracian pirates, what we can do is just focus upon like one settlement, like getting it properly developed. And once that settlement comes into play, we could do the other ones. I mean, Dessos is by far the more valuable of these two. It's just I'm close to Anphia right now. We could just spend the money on Pulpadeva too, of course. You know, or better yet, actually spend the money on a province that is lucrative, like this. Okay, we have like insane sanitation, so we could totally get this, right? Let's get less banditry. And then for here in Pella. Yes, I'm taking it. Yes!
At your command. I want hourly patrols. Make haste, men. We hunger for that. Advance.
Let's put an end to this turn. We've restarted Antigonid's elite army. We've taken over the vast majority of Thrace. Nasos is now in the hands of an enemy, so we should be able to confront that enemy for the all-important settlement quite soon. And we also have a quite interesting idea about making Thrace into a commercial haven. But ooh, the Thracians do attack us, the pirates, and I have absolutely no means for which to defend Dessos. I mean, just plainly, I can't. I need a navy at some point. But even like just keeping it like in this part of the map would be like so annoying. And yeah, we totally can make a non-aggression pact with Bithynia. They've been a friend of this entire campaign so far. I'll find their camaraderie useful. But alas, guys, it is time for me to get off. Thank you so much for watching this episode of a Macedonian campaign, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye for now.